Hello, hi, um, welcome. This is the final, wow, video for my 365-day daily vlog challenge. I set myself. I am super proud of myself. The hat is because I felt the moment needed something, and I didn't have anything. Like I've got a noisemaker in the bedroom, but I don't want to wake himself up because he's not been feeling too brilliant recently. And you know, I don't want to do anything too loud. Plus, I have neighbours. I live in a flat, so you know, I got neighbours, and I don't want to be too noisy. Although it is still daytime. It's 10 to 4. So yeah, I want to get this out early-ish so I can get a couple of I'm actually going to pimp this video and get some retweets going. Or at least one person will retweet it for me, and possibly get a couple of some more YouTube support channels. So yeah, I'm going to take this off in a minute because I'm getting hot. But quick update regarding my goodie boxes from Geek Gear. I've not had anything, and the postman has been around today. I've seen him come into the building, but I've not had him come to my door. So what I'm going to do is, in the new year, because tomorrow's a bank holiday here, so in the new year, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it, first of all, on the 2nd, because I've got, although, I suppose I could write the email from my phone, but to do it from the thing. Maybe I'll sketch out a letter on Notepad or something, and then just email it in the morning, because I have to be up early to go to work on the 2nd, and by the time I get back their office would have closed, so I might pre-write it and then send the email, and it'll be just like, hey, I really like your stuff, and I'm happy to be a subscriber all this time, and you know, I don't want to have to leave you, but I'm like down 5 boxes and you're continuing my subscription, so what's occurring? What can we do? What's happening here? And then hopefully they'll be like, oh, okay, yeah, and I'll give them my details in the thingy, and then hopefully it'll be like, it'll either be the case that they got so bogged down that it, you know, things went weird because it's the holiday season, or maybe it got lost somewhere in the system and they're like, oh, we'll sort it. So yeah, I'm a little disappointed, a bit upset, because obviously there were things that I wanted before Christmas, because the boxes were festive themed. I was looking forward to having some Harry Potter festive stuff before Christmas, and then obviously the December theme was supposed to be New Year. So all those stuff. Like I said, generally speaking, as a company, they've been very good. I'm just a bit like, oh, so what happened this time? You know, because I'm pretty sure last year there wasn't this big hiccup. So yeah, I'm gonna email Think Geek, not Think Geek, Geek Gear. Think Geek have always been pretty good, like because it's coming from America. I always allow a bit extra time. But the last thing I ordered from them came within, you know, the 28 days for delivery. It came certainly within that time. The only issue I had was that I did have a customs fee to pay, and that's not necessarily their fault. They warned that could happen, and what basically had happened is like, hey, you are going to get charged a customs fee. I'm like, okay, fair enough. But I wasn't told how much it was until the guy arrived, and I didn't have the exact cash on me, so it's like, so we get to go back the next day, and that was annoying. But that's beyond Think Geek's purview. But yeah, Geek Gear have always been pretty good, and when I've had, of course, to write to them before, they've been pretty polite, so that's what I'm going to do regarding my goodie boxes. Meanwhile, otherwise, today I've been going through, again, trying to sort out my cross-stitch kits, and so I've got, like, kits here, like this is a started kit. I've got a couple of other kits I've started. I'm probably going to finish this one today because it's in its packaging, but I'm basically up to there. I've done all the reed and I'm like halfway through the M. Sorry. So I'm like halfway through doing the green on the M. So that shouldn't take too long. And then if I've got time, if I'm filling it later, I've got a, you know, just put you back down. I have a, oh, and you can see it's quite sweet and small. Little butterfly kit. Make a little butterfly kit, and basically it is tiny because that's what it goes in. That's its frame. So yeah, that's that. And then also I'm going to once I've uploaded this, even though the camera isn't full, I'm gonna clear all the videos I've got off my camera, back them onto my hard drive. So basically everything's I'm going to put it all into the computer, and then once it's off the phone onto the computer, I'm going to back everything up onto the separate hard drive and then delete it from my computer, and that's going to save over 300 gigabytes off my computer because it's getting a bit eek. So that's going to make a huge difference. And then going into the new year, you know, clean camera, well, say clean, I mean there's going to be pictures and that, but no videos on the camera, no videos in my computer, everything can be backed up, and then going forward we've got you know fresh memory and all that stuff. So anyway, speaking of going forward and finishing up this year, let's do it. The last time. Alright, taking this off because oh, I am hot, and also it creates a weird echo in my head because the ear flaps. Yeah, if it wasn't for Doctor Who tomorrow, I would be quite looking forward to not doing a video. Oh, it's only like, honestly, I thought it was going to be like a whole big discussion, but it's not. And it's a bit obviously because it's a book. What's one thing you've learned about yourself while writing this book? The one thing I've learned about myself whilst writing this book is... Hang on, let's do this properly. I'm not very good at writing in this book. I think the joke was made, but how many... Because I know the first few days I did put numbers on the pages, so how many days did I actually write in the book? 18 days, so just over 2 weeks. I actually wrote in the book. I may go back through the book. I may sort of, I don't know, maybe randomly listen to the video, see what I did, maybe make some notes on that. Or if it's ones like describe a flavour or describe your dream thing, I might do some notes on that. So as in terms of writing this book, because I do, especially for a younger person, especially for, like I said, I think the target age for this book is probably between 11 and 13. Maybe, well, I wouldn't say 14 necessarily, unless, you know, like a slow... I was a bit of a late bloomer, so maybe someone who's a late bloomer might still get something from it at 14, 15. So for a young person, for someone going through life, and the puberty and everything that's with it, and like especially in England specifically, I can say this as a British person, we have education at the lower level from because like a couple of years in junior school, a couple of years in senior school, and then so in senior school you're 10, 11, depending on when you're born, usually around about 11, you are top of the tree. And then you go into secondary school, which is your end of the, you know, it's a 7-year thing, so between 11, 12 to 16, 17, I think the law has changed it depending on your age and if you've taken exams or not. But when your birthday is, you can leave school at an earlier age without taking exams, which is legally possible, but I think parents kind of say, well, at least do your exams, at least get your pieces of paper. So I think you can leave earlier, and then you've got another couple of years or a year that's So they're like the compulsory years. So you get 3 years. Yeah, it was 5 years. Sorry. So you get 3 years of, you're learning new subjects and introduced to, usually you get introduced to things like I started languages in those years. The first school was combined humanities, which is geography, history, and religious studies, social studies. And then the next school I went to split it all up into separate subjects. So you get stuff like that, you get stuff like languages, you get stuff like drama, you get stuff like art, craft. I did technical drawing, all that stuff. And then in the last 2 years, you have your core things, which are English, math, and the sciences. So you either have it as a combined, again, you can have it as a combined science or a separate, which is when I finally did my exam. So when I actually did my exams, it was separate biology, physics, and chemistry, but not as like the whole year. It was a term of one, term of the next, and term of the next. But it was still the 3 separate exams. So yeah, you have English, math, sciences. I think phys ed is supposed to be like a compulsory just to keep you moving. And then you have your options. So you can choose like between your languages, between your humanities, art, drama, that kind of stuff. And so you've got 2 years of doing your options. So that's your 5 years. And then if you want, you get another 1 year of A-level, which, depending on the subject, some A-level courses can be quite long as well. So 1 or 2 year of A-level. So you can either do that at the same school in what's called sixth form. Well, I don't know if it's called that anymore, but it was called sixth form because you'd start again. So nowadays, cool. In modern schools, it goes from year 7 to year 8, and it carries on, kind of like the American Australian grading system. But I think Canada, I think we were the only ones that split it. So you're 10, 11, you're top of the tree, and you go into big school, and you start again at 1. So years 1st to 5th year would be what I just described, and then sixth form would be the next group up, and where you could do your A-levels, or you could go to college. That's when you start thinking about going to college, and then depending on how you want to progress your education, university is a whole separate thing. So, but I think our school, I didn't go to their sixth form, but you could go to sixth form from another school if your school wasn't offering the courses, then you can go there. Anyway, I'm getting myself completely sidetracked on how our education system. But what I'm trying to say is, during that period of where, the 10, 11, bodily changes are happening regardless of, what gender you are. So I get, because there's a whole thing like sex and gender, which is the social construct, which is the thing. Whichever body you are in, that body is going through changes at that age. Also, and I'm going to assume this is probably designed for girls, but also you're going through body changes, and then you're going through social changes with going to a new school. I mean, I wasn't overly popular in my junior school, infant, junior, senior. I wasn't overly popular in my junior school, but because I was going to a new school where I didn't know anybody, and it's the same for pretty much everyone else, it's a whole new group of people. It's a kind of a clean start. So it was like, oh, I can try again. And I still wasn't majorly popular, but different groups and different ways of interacting with people, you get those changes. So for what I perceive to be the target age for this book, having a written down something, like what are some of your favourite smells, or could you plan a surprise party, what would you do, current fashion trend you like and why, stuff like that. What's your favourite colour? I can imagine writing all that stuff down when you're going through all these changes, and then having it, sort of leaving it on the shelf, forgetting about it, oh, I'm so over that now. But then going back to it, I can imagine that being an amazing thing to do. For my own part, I'm thinking maybe in about 10 years' time, depending on what I'm doing. But 10 years seems to be a good window of going back and watching these in groups, not like day by day. and maybe doing some kind of commentary on them and sort of commenting how my life has changed, or if my opinion on any of these things has changed since then. So from that point of view, as it being a book, especially for the target audience, I can see it being a really cool thing to have and have done. For me personally, doing this vlog series, what have I learned about myself? Well, I definitely waffle, but I knew that anyway. I can definitely I'm definitely hand flappy, which is why a lot of times I try and, if I look like I'm being too thingy, it's because I'm sitting on my hands. So right now I'm sitting on my hands, and if I'm not sitting on my hands, then they suddenly start waving around again. Which is why quite often I will play with something. More often than not, I've been playing with something. Like, for example, because I've been sorting out all these kits. Some magazines, like, for example, Cross Stitcher, doesn't fit in these pockets properly. And I do actually have a freestyle cut. You've probably seen it in my unboxing videos. But I can't find my metal ruler to use the straight edge. So I've been using my guillotine. This is really neat because that one's a straight blade. That one's a pre-creaser. That one makes it wibbly wobbly, but it still cuts. And that one does perforations. So that's really cool. I think this didn't cost me much more than a £5. Maybe 10, but you know. And it does the whole, like I said, it fits like an A4 sheet in it. So that's a neat thing. So there, yeah, that's something I could play with because you've got the slidey. Makes a good noise. What else have I learned about myself? I've learned that some days I didn't really want to do it. Like, there'd be some times where, like, either I've forgotten, it's gone quite late, and I'm like, oh crap. And other times where I've just been like, alright, better do it. But still don't. So I've learned that I've always known I've had a stubborn streak. I've had a stubborn streak for a while, and that's fine. But I've learned that that stubborn streak can be channeled to something more useful, more creative. You know, that I can use my stubborn streak to make myself do the thing that sometimes I'm like, on. And I think that's good. You know, channeling it, just not being like, well, this is my opinion, so blah, you're wrong. Which I try not to do anyway, but you know, that's usually how a stubborn streak manifests. Is like, no, don't want to, nope. But instead of going, I'm going to be stubborn, I don't want to do it today, I've gone like, no, I'm going to be stubborn and do it today. Which I think is a good thing. I've learnt that I can set myself a challenge, despite the fact that sometimes it's been, as I said, sometimes there have been days where I've just like been really tired or really whatever, this and that. Excuse me. There have been days where I've been kind of, but I've still done it. I've still, you know, trying to do something in my life, to make a positive in my life. You know, some of these videos run between 10 to 20 minutes. I try and keep them below 15. But, you know, sometimes they run long, and I apologise if you've got stuck on a long one. This is a long one. But it's the end of the year. I think I'm allowed to be a little bit indulgent on the end of the year. And so, yeah, I've learned that I can set myself a realistic goal. And I don't think setting 10 to 15 minutes aside, ideally, but, you know, giving myself that time every single day to do a thing is unrealistic. I've proven to myself that I can do that. Now, because the thing I've chosen to do is to set up a camera and waffle at it, that's relatively easy. To use, you know, to say about this, saying I'm going to do half an hour or an hour of cross stitch a day, technically that might be doable. It really depends on the pattern. And some patterns, like this owl here, it looks fairly straightforward, but he's got like some detailing on here. So the scarf might be relatively straightforward because it's all a block colour, but then it's not straight lines. And you've got the bit coming around the bottom here. So even something that looks relatively simple could be a lot more complicated. And then I've got my my big project, my dream project, which, you know, I want to do the little kits first. So the little kits I want to do first, and sort of, one, because it gets them all out of the way, because that entire, where are we? That entire black box is full of kits. That's a lot there, it's full. But so while I'm doing those kits, we'll get the thing out of the way, and then I'll have lots. I'll have a pile. I mean, it'll, in theory, it'll empty the box and make. So we'll go from, you know, a pocket with a page and a kit in it to just a pocket with a page. So if I wanted to redo the kit, I've got all the material, the information I need. But then I'll still have all the pile of projects. But to say, oh, I'm going to do an hour a day. Let's say an hour a day. An hour a day on a kit like this could be, you know, just a tiny little section, maybe just that area, or just some of the things over here, because it's a lot more complicated. It's what's known as confetti stitching, because there are lots of little bits of colour. I mean, like the flowers have got sort of blocky colours, but once you get into the feathers and everything, it's a lot more scattershot. So something like that, I guess productivity makes a difference, like how productive you feel you're being doing set thing for set time of the day. And whilst cross stitch like these little kits, I'm gonna finish the bookmark first, because it is almost done, and I don't think it'll take me too long to do it. Maybe that itself is an hour finishing it off. And that's mostly because the lengths of the material, like, you know, you have to keep rethreading. So like this, again, I can't imagine it being much more than an hour to do something like this, even though it's got some confettiing in it, but it's mostly blocks of colour with the little bits around the edge. And then the back stitch will probably take the longest. So yeah, I'm not saying that I'm going to set myself a new challenge and that it's going to be daily cross stitching, but the idea of setting aside some time to do a thing each day isn't an unreasonable self-quest. Is quest the right word? Yeah, self-challenge. I was just watching a video earlier from a young man whose name escapes me right now. Let me just go look it up quick. But basically he's an animator, and he was saying, the title of the video was, if you want to draw but can't think of anything, try this. And Howard Wimhurst, that's Wimshurst. He does a lot of animation stuff. I hadn't discovered him before this video, but looking at some of the animation he was doing, it looks really pretty. And I'm going to give it a closer look. So I'll probably put his name down there so you can look it up yourself. His thing was like saying, oh, and some artists will tell you that you should draw every day, and therefore you should set a time to do this thing every day. And my thing with doing this is, I'm not saying that doing a thing every day isn't a bad thing, because when I was watching that, I was thinking about this. Doing a thing every day isn't necessarily a bad thing, but maybe setting a time to do a thing every day isn't necessarily a good thing, because you're gonna bog yourself down. And that's what he said. He said some people will tell you set a time and do the thing, but if you're not inspired, then how are you going to do the thing? Whereas, you know, hey, I mean, there's nothing wrong with specifically with the drawing thing. There is nothing wrong with keeping a pad and some pencils within easy reach. I would argue. I mean, technically I have them within easy reach. I'd have to stand up to get them, but I do have them within easy reach. So the idea of, like, I want to do something every day, but I don't know if I'm going to be inspired at the same time every day. So I'll keep the equipment next to me, so when I get that inspiration, I'll also go, oh, I know, and, you know, and that's the thing. So I have learnt that doing a thing every day is an achievable goal. And it's okay. And I've also learned that I'm okay with this having no views. I mean, recently, thank you to those of you who have been watching, I have had viewers on my videos, and I think just on not the statistics, just on the timeline of it. I think a lot of these people who are watching me now have found me through my Doctor Who videos. So again, thank you. And thank you, Jodie Whittaker. And Jibbers and all those people. Because that's clearly has helped. I've got, my numbers have gone up since doing those videos. One thing I am looking forward to trying is not having to worry about doing a video every single day, but B, I've seen people say that in their experiences, on their channels, that when they haven't been posting every day, that's when they seem to get a jump in numbers. So I'm looking forward to testing that theory, because it's a theory I've not been able to test because I'm doing this daily challenge. But yeah, otherwise, what I've learned about myself is that I can set a goal, and that's pretty cool. I'm pretty proud of myself. And to all of you out there who have set yourself a challenge or are planning to set yourself a challenge for the new year, have at it. Give it a go. Don't be, because I've had these moments, especially in the beginning, like, oh, I don't, like, because I've wanted to do it and then felt bad about not doing it, but I've ended up doing it anyway. If you feel like, then give yourself a little while. Go make a cup of tea. Go walk around wherever you want to walk around. Come back to it. But don't beat yourself up about it, because if you beat yourself up about it, you're going to feel worse and get yourself into a spiral. When I've had moments of being like, bleh, I've either just said, sod it, I'm doing it anyway, or I'm doing it anyway, but in 10 minutes or 20 minutes. So I'm going to finish this bit first and I'm going to do this. So yeah, set yourself goals, but be realistic about it. Don't beat yourself up. But yeah, other than that, I don't think I've really got much more to add, except say, again, thank you to anyone who has been watching these videos, especially anyone who's watching this video up to this point. You are completely awesome. You're amazing. And I do totally appreciate you. I do know my parents and my family aren't watching this. My mum actually said I'm not watching it because it's weird for me to watch you. Alright, fair enough. I guess you could argue, what do you think, like, parents of actors and that do, but that's acting, it's not like this kind of thing. But yeah, yeah, you're awesome. Do the thing, and then keep doing the thing, and don't feel bad about not doing the thing. And the only reason I didn't ever stop doing the thing, even when I went to maybe not do the thing, is because I set myself a daily challenge, and it was achievable, and I did it, and I'm really, so the thing I've learned about myself is it's okay to be proud of yourself when you've done a thing. When you've done the thing and completed it, it's alright to feel good. Alright, I'm definitely going to sign off now because my throat's starting to go. Oh, on that note, yesterday when my throat was going, licorice tea. I have some licorice tea and I'm definitely going to get some more. That really helped. You might not like licorice, you might find something else works better for you, but for me that really helped. So that's my top tip for the day. And indeed any day. So, if you have been, sincerely, thanks for watching. If you're here, thank you. You are awesome. You are awesome. Alright, I've been Michelle, you've been listening, and I will see you next year. Bye!